Have all the wood line, and the car went up, and the wheel on the front didn't touch the ground again. And slowly I reduced the speed, and the car fortunately went straight. And so after we changed all the front of the car, and the normal Grifo is not so, you know, this long line was short a little bit, was changed the position of the engine, but this is the most beautiful one. And now that you don't go to 250 miles per hour, it's a perfect car.
So tell me, when you look at this car, at the beautiful design, what to you was the most difficult part of the design? You're trying to make it work and trying to make it work, and finally you have a solution.
You're talking about the design? Or
yeah, the overall, when you look at this car.
You know, the first prototype, usually you try to do the best that you can, the looks, no? After, when you go in production, you start to think that you want to have more space there, more space here.
More practicality.
Yes, more so. So at that point, you destroyed a little bit something, but you have to find a solution that looks still beautiful, but is more comfortable. And so that is a job that it takes from this car, it took from this car to the production car.
And what was your inspiration for the brushed, the stainless steel here?
Because we want to show the idea that that is a real roll bar. It's very
a real roll bar.
So the idea was to show that you are protected.
And you're here from the Black Hawk Museum, and your name?
Dave Dolter.
Dave, can you think of anything better than getting to drive this car?
I'd like to drive this car the 171 miles an hour that it could go.
You know what? Let me check. Do you mind if he drives this car 171 miles an hour? Should we give him permission?
Yeah, if they risk.
Yes. Why not? All right. Thank you for bringing this car here. Next, Iso. So the prototype.
This is Mike Gillette in his Iso Grifo. This is a Series 1 car, which is a reference to the front end of the car with the open headlights. This is a beautiful example. It's car number 101, Corvette engine, and this is your series production car. It's an early series production car, and this is probably one of the finest cars on the planet.
So Mike, how long have you had this car?
I've owned this car 1 year. Last year I found it in Europe, in Belgium, and I imported it. I live in Carmel, so I imported it from Belgium to Carmel.
What made you decide that it was Iso time in your life?
Well, this is my second Grifo, and I wanted this color. Never seen this color on an Iso before. And I wanted a car that was restored by Roberto Negri, the top Iso restoration guy who's in Italy.
So the car was in this condition when you got it?
Yes.
Congratulations. And when you look at this car, what do you see now? Because you have a production car, not the prototype.
Car. This is a real fantastic car. At that time there was no car that had road holding like this car and fast like this car. I cannot tell name of the other car. But we tried to do cars that are very easy to drive. Like now, if you drive car of that age, of that period, of our competitors, they look like trucks. Sorry, but I'm very honest.
But we won't name names.
No, you don't need it.
It's a beautiful car. Thank you very much for bringing it here. What made you make the decision to have an American engine in the car?
Because one of the idea was to go from point A to point B.
You needed to get somewhere.
He can say that, can't he? Thank you, Ron. This is a Series 2 car, and what the Series 2 means, it has the covered headlights. What also differentiates this car from the car that you just saw is this has a Ford 351 Cleveland engine, which necessitated what's called the Pagoda hood scoop on the hood. What really distinguishes this car, however, is you saw the number 1 car, which is the prototype. This is the last car off the Iso production line. It's car number 412. So you've seen the first, you've seen the production, and now you've seen what is essentially the last iteration, 5-speed, Ford 351 Cleveland, air conditioning, power steering. This is the ultimate. This is where we ended.
Okay, at a certain moment we changed from General Motors to Ford because we were racing in Formula One and we were using Ford engine. And so to make the whole thing equal, and the Ford treat us very well, so we changed the engine to Ford. Not because they were much better, they were both a beautiful engine, one or the other. It was a commercial decision.
So Mike, we've talked several times here. Now, is this the car that came from Portland?
This one was actually in Italy. It was at the ISO factory when the factory was closing. And so it was the last car. And then it was in England. It was about 20 years ago, restored in England. And then Mike Hart owns the car. He's had it in this area for the last 15 years. Over the last 3-4 years, done a little cosmetic freshening and to its current state.
It's a fantastic car. And so when you look at this car, this is the last baby,
Yes.
the last child.
I left, I didn't build this car. I left the car company a few months before. And after somebody bought it, it was a kind of a big corporation. They didn't do very well, they closed. And I went back and bought my name, and still now I own my name.
Congratulations, it's good to own your name.
No, because all the other sports cars are owned by big corporations, by Fiat, by the. Perhaps we don't build car, we build sometime a car, but we own our name, and my daughter is owning Zagato, so the two names remain together. We don't make any more money. Zagato, yes, on this car, but we still are the only family that kept the name in their name.
Thank you very much for bringing this car here. Does that end the ESOs that we have?
Absolutely.
So thank you very much. Good to see you. Thank you, Darren. And Miles, what